All right, good morning, everybody. I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Tim Pandajis. A bit of an early start, especially if you are awoken by some of the thunder and lightning and the storms rolling on through earlier. Now we're just dealing with the remnant lingering heavy rainfall. And thankfully here on the latest imagery, most of that has kind of shrank in coverage, and we're just seeing some isolated areas of those heavier downpours. Earlier, it was much more widespread. Now, in terms of flash flooding, no watches are up in our immediate area, but you can see it highlighted well to the south and west there, out towards Victoria, where they've just been getting hammered with very heavy rainfall. A loop here starting off 6 hours ago had a lot of rainfall across the area, and we still do, but notice it has certainly shrank in coverage out towards Brazoria and Matagorda, where it is still coming down heavily out in Hawkinsville, near Lake Jackson as well. We move a little bit farther along the coast out through Galveston. Heavy rain kind of pivoting offshore and moving inland along the I-45 corridor through Jamaica Beach, Galveston itself. A very wet start to your Tuesday. And through Houston, we had our fair share of very heavy rainfall earlier as we had a band pivot on through, and notice in the last couple of hours it has really kind of died off a little bit. Still have some light to moderate patches of rainfall there, but certainly not nearly as heavy as it was earlier. A closer look of downtown Houston through the corridor there. Some pockets of moderate to heavy rainfall, but certainly not as heavy as it was just an hour and a half ago. Off to the northeast of the city, a few more bands of some pockets of heavy tropical downpours. And overall, over the last 6 hours, radar indicating some monstrous amounts of rainfall. We'll look at the city first, and we'll start off with some patches here along the 610 corridor. Radar indicating over a half foot of rain. That's an inch an hour rainfall rates in those areas earlier this morning. Off to the northwest, North Houston, just under 5 inches there, about 5.5 inches just north of the Sam Houston Parkway. And to the south out through Missouri City, just to the east of Sugar Land, 6.6 inches right along Fort Bend Freeway there, the Parkway. That's just a ton of rainfall and overwhelming some of those drainage basins there. Now into Matagorda, which this has seen the jackpot in terms of totals. Again, keep in mind, this is just the last 6 hours. So since 4 o'clock this morning, areas near Markham and Buckeye have seen nearly 9 inches of rainfall there. That is over an inch and a half an hour rainfall rate. 7.5 inches just south of there, 5.5, and nearly 7 as we get a little farther north of Midfield. Now, overall, what's driving this very wet pattern for us? Well, we've got the lingering energy from a decaying frontal boundary. We were talking about that this past weekend. It dropped in as a cold front, then stalled out and became stationary, and it's been decaying ever since, but there's still plenty of energy there, and we've got that moisture fetch coming in off the Gulf of Mexico, those two interacting, and we're seeing those bands of heavy rainfall build on shore and linger for quite a while. And unfortunately, not the best news here is that the rain chances do linger not only through today, but really through much of the rest of the work week and into the weekend. Let's go through future track here through the lunch hour. We've still got some lingering downpours. Most of that will be to the south and southwest of the city. And as we get into this afternoon, I think we see a lull in the activity, especially well to the north. Those will be the drier areas through much of the day today. Downpours still along the coast. Overnight tonight, as we've seen day in and day out, things do quiet down. But by early tomorrow morning, similar to what we saw today, we'll start to see the bands building back north with heavy rainfall starting at the coast, lifting inland. So a wet morning commute on your Wednesday through the late morning into the lunch hour, and then a lull in the activity by the evening. So kind of playing this whole broken record forecast out day in and day out. Rainfall for the next 5 days, really right just through Friday, so not even 5 days. Look at some of these amounts that we could see here. Higher totals down to the south, nearly 5 inches in Galveston. Hobby Airport coming in around 3 inches. Again, this is just one computer model run, but all of them have been very wet for us here for the next couple days. So rain chances north of 50% pretty much right through the middle of the week, and even into Friday we're at 40%, dipping a little bit on Saturday and Sunday. The silver lining in all this, we're not dealing with that intense summer heat. Average high this time of the year should be around 94. We're nowhere near that. In fact, we're south of 90 degrees right into the first half of the upcoming weekend.